Hello everybody, again. I have a camera for review for YouTube, not my eBay store. This is the Minolta X-700. This camera review will be for the novice, the individual who has probably found this on eBay, a yard sale, inherited from a family member, someone who needs the camera for a photography class, who might not know anything about photography but needs to know the camera's workings in order to use it. So, continuing with that, I'm going to talk about the lens. With this particular camera, you want to look for a Minolta lens. I'm going to show you how to dismount it. This button on the side here, and you have to move the lens entirely anti or counterclockwise to remove the lens. You want to look for a lens that has a green number, the f-stop number, for the smallest opening. So this is at f16, and you can see the smallest opening lets in the least amount of light. So you want to look for a lens that has something like this, or particularly the Minolta lenses that were sold with this camera had kind of like a little lip on the lens that you would click out, and it would be a green little strip on the lens, and that would lock the aperture in place so it wouldn't move around. This is similar, however, there's no lock on this aperture ring to keep the aperture from moving out of place in the program mode. So the program mode, and I'm going to show you how to reattach the lens. Line the black dot with the black dot. Turn clockwise until you hear a click. We're ready to shoot. All right, so starting from the top, right to left. Excuse me. Yeah, we'll go right to left. So this is your film counter. This will tell you how many pictures you have taken as opposed to how many you have left. So you can keep track of what shot was which. If you're writing it down on a pad, okay, I used this setting here at this location, and this is the image number. When you go into the dark room, you can number your photographs once you take them, but this is a handy feature for people who might not know how much photos they've taken. This is your advance lever. You advance the film to continue taking photographs. This is your shutter speed dial with program, which is that green selection here, which is fully automatic. The camera's computer chip in the prism has complete control of the lighting settings, the shutter speed, and the aperture to get the correct exposure for the scene. This is your A, or automatic aperture priority mode. This allows you to control the aperture of the lens and will automatically select a shutter speed that is agreeable to the setting. Once you move it off of automatic, you are in complete control of both the shutter speed selections here and the aperture selections here. To turn the camera on, there are two settings. If you move the power switch, which is located right here, to the left, you get on with sound. This will tell you if the camera's setting is too underexposed or too overexposed for the selected setting. So let's see. I'm going to put it right up against my chest. Too low of a light source. I'm going to point it up right to the lamp. Too much light for the setting. If I get it just right, it'll tell me that it's at 1,000th of a second. And in the viewfinder, you'll see a P mode, a green P in the viewfinder that is flashing, telling you that it's in program mode. Going to automatic, you have to switch this button here and move the dial clockwise. Now this allows you to select the shutter speed and will choose the aperture for you. If you don't want the sound, just move the dial back to the center and go to the right. Now you'll have an on without sound. So it will not notify you of over or under exposure. This is your prism, and we'll go through the shutter speeds as well with the lens stop down so you can see the action there. But this is your prism, which is where all the computer technology is for the program mode and the automatic mode. Your hot shoe, which is where you put an external flash gun to give you a source of light if you're into flash photography. Going to your left now is your rewind lever and knob, your exposure compensation. So if you want to make the photos a little bit brighter or a little darker, that's how you select those. And there are so many different experiments you can do with the exposure compensation dial. It's pretty cool. This is your film speed selection. You pull up on this ring here and move back to the number that is on your film for the novice. If you are experienced in taking film photographs, you can do a lot of experiments in terms of pushing or pulling the film. So this is a CineStill 800 tungsten. So if I wanted to shoot 800, I'd move the dial to 800. As seen there, I just moved it to 800. You just have to pull up and move the dial. All right, so let's go to the shutter speeds. You have to press down on this button to move it to the manual speeds. So this is 1/1000th of a second at f16, which is the smallest opening. So you can see the blades moving. That was 1/1000th of a second. This is 1/500th of a second. 1/250th. 1/125th. 1/60th. 1/30th. 1/15th. 1/8th. 1/4. Half a second. And 1 full second. And then you have your bulb mode. Everything will remain open, stop down, until you release your finger from the shutter button. Longer exposures, if you're taking, those really interesting photos of traffic at night and the vehicle lights are all blurry on the highway, that's what you want to replicate. That's the mode that you use. All right, so now opening the camera's back. You want to lift up on the rewind knob, but first I want to explain to you this diagram. This is your ISO diagram. This is the DIN to ASA conversion. Before ISO, which was the international, I guess, table for recognizing light, it was a European DIN and an ASA, the American standard for the light readings. So now it's just called ISO. You might say ISO. I've said ISO before, and I've gotten, I guess you could call reprimanded for it on my comments, but I don't necessarily mind how you say it. Just as long as you know what you're talking about is all that I care about. So this is where you put your film in this chamber here. This is the film transport. It's a horizontally traveling cloth shutter. Do not touch this. If you touch this, you will break the camera. This is a very nice camera for the beginner. Very expensive. So if you get it for free or you get it for cheap, like I did, this was $30 along with the X-700 that I mentioned earlier. No lenses were included, just the bodies, but $30 for an X-700 and a Minolta X-700 is a stellar deal. You won't find anything else like that unless you really look for a long time. And I've been collecting film cameras for, let's say, 5-6 years at this point now, and I've never come across an X-700 that was worth buying at that price. So I lucked out extremely well, and someday you will too. You just got to be patient. This is the self-timer right here. You just have to pull up on this knob. I'm going to go to the on with sound, so you can hear the self-timer. All right, there we are. And just for your reference, the MPS is the software, if you will, or the hardware technology that Minolta invented along with this camera. That's basically the computer chip that's in the camera. Now, these were released in, I think, if I recall, 1984? 1984 was the first year of this, and this was the last retro-looking Minolta camera, I believe, with the Rising Sun logo. The camera after this was the Minolta Maxim 7000, which was released in 1986. Don't quote me on that, but that was without the advanced lever. It was completely automatic. You had to advance the film on this camera. The X-700, the Minolta Maxim 5000 was all just the shutter button. If I said X-700 just a couple seconds ago, I meant Minolta Maxim 7000, not the X-700. I don't know why I said that. Probably because I'm referencing or thinking about the Exxon lawsuit that Minolta had to settle because their original Maxim logos looked like the Exxon logo for the gas stations. So if you come across a Minolta Maxim camera with the Exxon logo, the band Exxon logo, then buy it up, because they're becoming less and less common and more expensive. It's just a little piece of history, if you will. And if you're a camera nut like I am, that's why you get mixed up with all of these names, because there's so many intricacies, so many variations of these different cameras, and you could have all of the cameras in the world and still not remember the different names. Many cameras have the same names, so you have to be aware of that as well to not confuse people. But I hope this review helped the beginner in their photography journey in terms of film photography. Film photography is very fun. It's not forgiving, which is the fun part. And if you make something very special, you'll cherish it more than you do on the digital format, because there's only a slim chance that you get it correct, and if you do get it correct, well, you don't know until it's been developed. So, these things are a dying breed, and if you find an X-700 for 30 bucks at a yard sale, offer him 20. Offer the guy, offer the girl 20 for it. And if he doesn't do it, she doesn't do it, well, buy it for 30, because you're not going to get this camera for 30 bucks normally. These things go for over $100. Body only, so I certainly lucked out there. So if you have any questions, please post down in the comments. If you have any corrections, if any information that I said was incorrect, please correct me, because I'm all about the facts and getting things truthfully. So if there's anything that you need to correct, please do so. I'm not above criticism or critique, so if any time you want me to tweak what I do or how I do my reviews, please tell me. But that's it for this video, and on to the next one, which will probably be another Minolta. I mean, I've had so many Minolta cameras, and Minolta is the main collection piece in my film collection, so I will have more of those in the future. But thank you all for watching, and God bless.